Hello, welcome back. My name's Asher. This is the next video, the next step in my series. Welcome to my transhood. All are welcome here, all are safe here. I am so thankful to be here today, thankful to share my heart with you, share my experience, share my joy, share my love. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for those who have subscribed, who will subscribe. Please subscribe. I just want to share my experience being a trans man. Also, eventually I will get to the educational aspects of sharing name change, sharing how to change it on your driver's license, social security card, things that you need, how much money you'll need, how I raise money for top surgery, so on and so forth. And then I really want to dive into some things that we struggle with. And if not everyone, I know the things that I've struggled with. So I feel like there's at least one person out there who has gone through similar things. So I just want to thank you for being present with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for opening your heart and receiving this love and joy. So I want to provide a little bit of a trigger warning. I will be discussing today how I accepted rejection. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about rejection from family. And for some, that might be a very heavy topic. You might be in the thick of it right now. So first, I just want to extend my love and my gratitude and healing towards you. And during this time, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you are struggling with that and you just need someone to talk to, I'm here. But we will be talking about that subject today. So if that's going to be a little bit too much for your heart to handle today, then press pause, come back to it later, or feel free to exit at any point in time during the discussion. So right now, I just want to take this time to just take a couple deep breaths and prepare ourselves to dive into this topic, okay? So first, I want to say that rejection, no matter who it's from, whether it's from family, from friends, coworkers, people you are dating, or anybody that you come across in life, rejection is not about you. Rejection is not about your worth. It is about them. It is about their fear, their insecurities, their imprisonment. And just know that you are free. You are free. You're free to be who you are, who you were created to be. And as a trans person, I mean, just think of the freedom that you already took stepping outside of that binary box to fully embrace your transness, your joy. You are worthy, you are loved, and you are strong, and you can and will get through this. Back when I came out, I first came out to myself. even though it's something I knew deep down, even though the only thing that really held me back was like, oh, you know, I don't know if that's really me. First, it was the whole Christianity thing. Being told that I was a girl, being told that this is how it is, and I just have to accept it. And then growing through myself, through experiences, through meeting other people, through therapy, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm trans. Like, there's no getting around that. And so I talked with my stepsister at the time, and she was like, are you sure you're not trans? And I was like, I think maybe I could be, but I can't transition. It would break my dad's heart. And she was like, okay, but if you are, like, I support you 100%. And so that just kind of stuck with me. And my dad had grown and a little bit and accepted me dating women, and so she, my stepsister brought up the point, like, hey, he did come around and to you dating women and is like okay now, and so I think if he was just given some time, I think he can come around. And I was like, this is a big one. This is a lot. This is different. It's not hindsight, but in the moment, it was like, nah, this is just way different, to transition and change genders, and it was just going to be a lot, that was my mindset back then. And I spoke with my therapist, and she was like, if this is who you are, you have to live your truth. And you can't keep denying it. It's going to affect your mental health. It's going to affect your peace. It's going to affect your physiological health too. And, it started to weigh on me a lot. I was in this growth transition period, and just realizing, what am I doing with my life, and why am I trying so hard to fit in when I know I don't? And so she talked to me about, picking a name and using male pronouns with a small group of people that I trusted. So I went to my stepsister and some of her friends and her partner at the time, and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to come out as trans, but can we start by calling me a different name? And so at the time, I went by a different name than Asher, and it was kind of an easing into fully embracing myself. And so we tried that. We tried male pronouns, and I was like, oh, this is it. Like, it didn't even take long. I think it maybe a day. I was like, no, I'm trans, and there's no denying it. And once I accepted myself, which is a constant process. It's not just a like click and like, I'm trans and I accept myself and I love myself and I have no doubts about it. No, maybe for some, like, good for you. I wish it was that easy, but for me, it has been a process of accepting, one, being trans and breaking that core belief system that has been ingrained in my being, of binary, right? Breaking that core belief system in terms of Christianity, and that there is one man, one woman, men look like this and act like this and have these genitalias, this genitalia, and then females have this genitalia, and they act like this and they look like this. Which I was already breaking that mold. I was considered more of like a mask lesbian at the time, but still used female pronouns, still had my breast, all these things. And then, so, I was already breaking that mold, that structure, but this kind of just obliterated it and blew it out of the water. And now I'm at a point where not only am I a trans man, I identify as a man, I use male pronouns he, him, I am Asher. I embrace also my feminine energies, which is still a struggle, because, and we'll get into like toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. Let's not negate that. But, so it's been a process. First, it was just accepting, okay, I'm trans. What does this mean? What does this look like? So coming out to my inner circle was fine. It was people I already knew accepted because they knew more than I did. They encouraged. They were like, hey, you are. So it was a lot easier, right? And then I was finishing a program because I am a nurse, and I went to my managers of that educational program, and I was like, hey, I'm trans and I use male pronouns, and I will be changing my name, and my name is Asher. And so, one of my managers cried. She was so excited, and she was like, I'm so happy for you. She barely knew me, but this woman is literally an angel, and I am so grateful for her. And she came alongside me and introduced me to people to help me ease into that. She made sure that I was connected with my next manager, to make sure that they were understanding of what I was going through. She spoke with my preceptor with me, who then corrected everybody, including Jesus, and was like, no, he is a he, and his name is Asher. And it was smooth. I was so blessed at work that, granted, there's some people at work who have their opinions, who say what they want to say, who act one way to my face, and behind my back they say all the things. That's fine. Whatever. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the patients. I'm here for those to the left and right of me to get my job done. Doesn't really affect me. It might affect you, and that's something that I would definitely bring to your therapist. I would hold firm to who you are, bring it to HR. If you are being discriminated against, and be aware of your rights. And then, so next, those were the first initial people I came out to. And next was the most daunting task of coming out to my parents. It was my dad and my stepmom, and I didn't know when or how to do it. And we were at my parents' house for some family event, and the night was over. We're just sitting and chit-chatting, and I was like, there's something that I want to tell you guys. So they sat down, and I was like, there's no easy way to say this. I'm trans. My name is Asher. I use male pronouns. I've started testosterone. And there you have it. There was some tears. There was, mixed emotions. The room was heavy. I felt a weight lifted, but then it just kind of plopped in front of me. The biggest struggle, I think, was seeing my dad. Seeing him cry. My dad is one of the sweetest men alive, and I love him dearly. But I think he hasn't done the work himself. To love himself enough in order to love me. And that is really important. If you cannot love yourself wholly where you are at and who you are inside and out, it is very hard to love someone else unconditionally. And I don't mean the people-pleasing kind of, blind love where you love someone so much you let them walk all over you, you let them treat you any kind of way, and you still are there with puppy dog eyes loving them. No, I mean loving someone exactly for where they're at, setting boundaries that are healthy, and boundaries for yourself, but just loving them for who they are and where they are, and accepting who they are and where they are, right? And my parents went through this whole spiel of we're not kicking you out. I didn't live there at the time. But it was we're not kicking you out of our home. We want to work through this together. We love you. You are always welcome here. And then that famous 3-letter word that everyone likes to say, right? All these things, great, good, feels so much better. But we don't acknowledge you being a man. But we will not use male pronouns. But we will not call you Asher. And at first I was like, you know what? They need time. They need, they need time to process this, to accept it, which is true. People with different backgrounds, family members with different backgrounds, religions, beliefs, they might need some time because, as a parent, you have these ideas for your kids that you never thought you had. You have these dreams for them that you never thought you had. Granted, I'm a little more aware in terms of the gender role dreams, but, understanding my parents and my dad and growing up Southern Baptist and in the church, he had this dream that I was this little girl who was going to get married to a man, who was going to have 2 kids and the white picket fence and the house and the dog. I do have 2 kids, not married yet. It's not to a man. We don't have a picket fence, but we do have a dog and 2 cats. It's great. And so there is a grace period. I'm not saying you need to go to these people and say, fuck you, you're not a part of my life anymore. But you do need to set boundaries. Because when someone says, you're welcome here, we love you, but we will not acknowledge who you truly are, that should be a hard boundary. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, how to handle that, how to set those boundaries. How I did it at first was okay, I'm still going to come around. I'm still going to show up. I'm going to tolerate it. And that toleration chipped away at the self-work that I was going through. It chipped away at my peace. it chipped away at all the work I was doing with my therapist and within myself and my spiritual mentor. Well, at the time I didn't have a spiritual mentor, but my spiritual journey, everything I was doing to grow and to accept and to love myself for exactly where I was in my journey, in my transition. Every time I went to their house and was misgendered, every time I went over and was called by my dead name, every time we would go out and they would say, "Oh, my daughter," in front of me, pointing to me, it hurt. It hurt. And it hurt because I'm still me. I'm still growing. I'm still exactly who I've always been. I've just grown. I look different on the outside, different pronouns. I have a different level of self-love and self-acceptance, and I have a different level of freedom. And I don't know what their hesitation is. I don't know, for parents out there who say, "Oh, I do love my kid, but if they're trans, like, it's going to be very hard." Well, no shit. No shit. Parenting is hard. Like, literally, I get into a battle with my 4-year-old all the time about just going to the bathroom and not peeing on himself. Like, it's a struggle. Pick your battles. If you want to see your child fully blossom and love and accept themselves for who they are and be unapologetically them, what is the issue? You will lose your child. You will lose your child. You'll be your child's first bully if you can't rein in your words and rein in your emotions. You will push your children away. You will totally shit on their self-worth. And, I can't say I didn't warn you when they don't show up to family events, when they don't show up to family functions, when they find a community that loves and embraces them and allows them to just be free. Whether they are trans, non-binary, queer, gay, pan, lesbian, bisexual, polyamorous, like everything outside of the cis-het binary box. They are being true to themselves and they are more free. We are more free than anyone else on this planet. If I am created in God's image, if I was, per the verse, knit together in my mother's womb, you don't think God knew that? You don't think the Creator knew that? I have never been more open, more kind, more loving, more gentle, more full of peace than I am now. When I was going through top surgery, it really hurt when my parents said, or my dad said, "I wish you well in the surgery, but we can't be a part of it. We can't be there for you. We can't watch your dog for you. We can't do this. We can't do that." And it was like, damn. And for what? Your religion? Your core belief system? Yes, it's different than mine, but you can't show up for your child? And I'm telling you, he missed out on the epitome of trans joy. When those dressings came off, I felt like a whole new person. And it was money I raised. So it's like, that's another self-accomplishment. I raised so much money to pay for something that I wanted and needed. And literally and figuratively, a weight was lifted that day. And you missed out. I don't bring my kids around because why would I put them in the middle of chaos when I come over and you can't acknowledge that I'm a dad? You can't acknowledge that I'm Asher. You can't acknowledge that I'm male in front of my kids. Why would... My kids aren't old enough to really grasp the concept of my transition. We've started talking about transgender, non-binary. People are who they say they are. Just because they look one way does not immediately mean that they are. And I mean, kids, granted, they really don't give a flying fuck. That's something that I will talk to them about. That's something that me and my partner have discussed talking to them about. But right now we're starting small because they grew up in a different type of home prior to us moving in together. And so we're working on that. But with my niece and nephew, they knew me first as auntie. And when I came out, they were like, okay. So you gonna grow a beard? Cool. You know, they had little kid questions. I answered their questions. They didn't even get into whole why, how could you do this? It was immediate, oh, you're my Uncle Asher. Bet. I want to be like Uncle Asher. No questions, no doubts, no qualms. Just love. Just love and acceptance for who I am. And it grew to be a deeper kind of love, even though we lived thousands of miles apart. Excuse me. It's a deeper kind of love that these kids have shown me. And we put so much weight on gender, it is ridiculous. And it still pains me to hear my dad say, oh, I miss you. I love you. But there's some healing that he has to do. And so there's some self-work that he has to do. There's some self-growth that he has to do. There is some courage that he needs to stand up. They came up with a nickname for me to help, placate me being trans. And I was like, that's cool for a time being, and my therapist asked me, how long are you going to bend over? How long are you going to put yourself last? How long are you going to play this game and jump through their hoops? Your transition is yours. No one else's. And people are either along for the ride or not. And it is really hard when it comes to family. It's very heavy, especially if you come from a big family or an integrated family or a family who's been through so much, and you want to be there and you want to love and you want to show up. But it cannot, for me, it is not worth the price of my heart, the price of my peace, the price of my trans joy. It's sad, but there is so much community out there in this world who does love you, who does accept you for who you are. Me and my brother, my biological brother, we don't talk every day. We have an interesting relationship, but he surprised me. When I came out, he's been the most steady when I thought he would probably be the most chaotic. Him and his wife and their kids have shown so much love and support, and to get a text from my brother that says, you know, I'm sorry for the way that our dad and his family are acting, but you don't have to put up with it, and I love you, and you're my brother. And those words were the balm that I needed on those deep wounds. To know that someone that I considered family loved me for me, and is not a hot topic of the day every time we talk. I'm not a joke. There's not deep discussion. It's, you're my brother. I love you. When are you coming out to visit? You know, when are you guys getting married? It's the next subject. And it is so sweet. And if you're watching this and you've experienced going through this with your family and you're getting the I love you but, I cannot tell you how to make your decisions. I cannot tell you I cannot tell you oh, you need to cuss them out and walk away. I cannot tell you you need to leave them. I cannot tell you don't ever see them again. Don't ever talk to them again. I can't do that. It's hard. It's hard as fuck. And I won't tell you that. But what I can tell you and what I can warn you is to be careful during this time. And protect yourself. To protect your self-worth. Your peace and your joy. Because at the end of the day, it's you who has to lay your own head down in your own bed. It's you in your mind. It's you looking in the mirror. It's you living this life, not them, not anyone else in this world. It is you. And it is your right to be loved. It is your right to be accepted for exactly who you are. And the world is already an ugly place. Stop inviting people in your home that are already taking you apart piece by piece. That is something you do have control over, is who you allow in your arena. If they're not fighting with you, if they're not cheering you on in your corner, if they're not loving you for who you are, if they're not supporting you for who you are, they shouldn't get a ticket. They shouldn't get a VIP pass. They shouldn't get that much access to you. Because for what? To drain you? To take away from all the work that you're doing? It's not worth it. I promise you it is not worth it. And to have family members who, they say one thing when we're alone, and then when it comes to being around my stepmom and my dad, and they act differently or they shy away from calling me Asher, or they allow certain things to be discussed when I'm not there. And I hear it because my dad has said, oh, this person, doesn't agree with you and says this. True colors start shining through. Be careful, be mindful, be intentional, and be exclusive. You are you. You are beautiful. You are worthy. You are free. Stop putting yourself back in the cage. Stop putting yourself back in the closet. Stop placating other people. Stop pleasing other people. For what? So you can be uncomfortable? So you can feel down? So you can feel unworthy? So you can feel sad? So you can doubt yourself? It is not worth it. Life is so short. Life is so short that to not be happy and full of joy and to be around people who love and accept you for you, it's not worth it. I'm telling you, it's not. I found peace in being a dad and loving my kids for exactly who they are. I found peace in small holiday celebrations. I enjoy sharing my victory, sharing my trans joy, because our trans joy is special. It is sacred. And I love sharing it only with people who love and respect it. Now, if I can sit and have an educated conversation with someone who disagrees, cool. But I'm not here to change anyone's mind. I'm not here to convert anyone. But I am here to say, just stop and think about the weight and the consequences of your actions as parents, as siblings, as aunts, uncles, cousins, as friends, as families, for those who truly love the person in their life that is trans and non-binary. Is it worth it to you to lose that person simply because you can't think outside the box? And if it really comes down to religion, honestly, each person's walk, each person's spiritual journey is their own, and you cannot force anyone to believe what you believe. You cannot force anyone to go to heaven or go to hell. Let people live their lives. You live yours however you want. If you want to stay and be cis, het, binary, cool. Stop forcing it on your kids. Stop forcing it on your brother or your sister or your family member. Stop forcing it on other people. Just love and accept them. You will see in time, I guarantee you, you will see the self-growth, the change, the self-love, the joy, the pure joy in this person's life. If you just sit back, keep your mouth shut, love them for who they are, you will get a free VIP pass to experience something that not everyone gets to experience, that is so precious and so beautiful and transcends the unthinkable when you see it. So with that, I hope that this helped a little bit. I hope that you choose yourself today. I hope that you are in therapy, that you are grounding yourself, that you are telling yourself that you are worthy, that you are supported, that you are loved. I hope that your heart is full of gratitude and full of love for yourself first, and then it'll overflow into other people. If you need anything, again, comment below. If you have a specific topic you want me to touch on, I promise I will get more refined as this goes. I just want it to be raw and unedited and unfiltered and authentic. And with time, I will grow in that, and my words will hopefully come out a little more clearer. But I hope today the message is that other people's rejection is not your bag to pick up and take with you. Other people's deception is not your bag to pick up and take with you. Worry about you. Focus on loving and accepting yourself through this journey. Focus on your peace of mind, your self-worth, your self-love. With so much gratitude, thank you for listening and being here with me today. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I will be doing videos weekly. I just didn't do them last week, so I was sick. So this will be taken off. Let's come together and show the world that we are love, we are light. Thank you.